We are back. I'm sorry we haven't had any videos for the last week or so. We were actually on a business trip to Los Angeles. We were out and about doing our thing, doing the thing that pays the bills, and we had a lot of news pop up over the last week or so. We had a lot of people, or I had a lot of people, sorry, tagging me in on Twitter about IDW publishing Marvel characters in a new comic book line. Yeah, you know, this actually doesn't surprise me at all. As we said in the previous video, and as I've been saying for about 2 years now, I don't think that Marvel Comics will be publishing comic books themselves for much longer. I think that eventually they will just outsource all comic book production to smaller publishers who basically will pay them for the rights to publish these characters. Now, this article, the version I'm picking, is coming from Bounding Into Comics. I would go to Bleeding Cool and pull it up, but I'm afraid I will get a virus on my computer if I do that. So I do trust Bounding Into Comics to not have scammy ads. So let's go through here and just read a little bit about what is going on with IDW and Marvel. IDW Publishing and Marvel Entertainment are teaming up to produce a brand new publishing line targeting younger readers with middle-grade comic books. This new publishing line will feature some of Marvel's top characters, including Iron Man, Spider-Man, Black Panther, and more. The publishing line will produce monthly issues as well as trade paperback editions and aims to sell them at local comic book shops and book retailers. The new line is expected to launch in November with a brand new Spider-Man series featuring Peter Parker and Miles Morales. It will be followed by an Avengers series in December and a Black Panther series in January 2019. These books are being marketed as an easily accessible jumping-on point for younger readers to follow the adventures of their favorite characters. Actually, I think this is called testing the waters to see how viable it is to just turn over Marvel superhero characters to another publisher and see how they do with them. Again, you know, comics are a money-losing proposition, a money-losing endeavor for the Walt Disney Company. It's not something they really want to be in. Marvel Comics is definitely... I think Marvel Comics is breathing its last breaths. I think that the days of Marvel Comics as a comic book publisher are definitely coming to an end. Disney doesn't seem to really care much about them at this point as a comics publisher. They are very, very interested in Marvel Studios and the MCU. That is where they're putting all of their attention, all of their money into. Comic books. It's just ancillary merchandise. Disney really could care less. And if they need new ideas, you know, they can just hire the best of the best away from the comics. And it was surprising, but it's not surprising. We've been saying for a while that I think Marvel Comics, especially with the market being the way that it is right now, the days of Marvel publishing comic books are definitely coming to an end sooner rather than later. I am surprised at IDW as being the choice, considering IDW is in the gutter right now. Like, they are really striking out on sales. They had a big debacle with Hasbro over G.I. Joe last year, which resulted in some major editorial changes. You know, this is not the company, IDW is not the company that I would trust with, you know, flagship characters like Spider-Man, but maybe some lessons have been learned and they'll rein it in. Who knows? But that's what's going on right now. Oh yeah, one other thing that IDW is publishing too is a GoBots comic, because nobody asked for this, right? So apparently a GoBots comic is in the work, also from IDW. Now, I think the GoBots are actually part of the Transformers license, because Hasbro bought the rights to GoBots years and years ago, and you know, occasionally they use the GoBots in the Transformers line. So it is kind of interesting to see a GoBot comic book coming from IDW. But yeah, IDW is just not doing that great, and I'm not sure if this is going to help them or not, to tell you the truth. So we will see. We'll definitely be keeping tabs on this. I do believe this is sort of the death knell for Marvel as a comic book publisher. You know, we're not the only people to mention that we think that Marvel as a publishing house, that its days of publishing comics are coming to an end. Bob Layton, who used to write Iron Man, Bob Layton, you know, went out on social media about a month ago and said that he thought that the days of comic books were coming to a close. You know, Bob Layton said, yeah, because Marvel now is about the brand, not about the characters anymore. This goes along with, if you remember this interview that C.B. Cebulski and Sana Amanat had with, I think it was on CBS. It was on CBS, yeah. That they were looking at Marvel being a lifestyle brand and not a comic book publisher per se. You know, Bob Layton's been talking. So yeah, it's definitely, I think we're definitely getting to, you know, the end of the line for comic books. So, yeah, I just don't know how the general public would react to that. I don't know if the general public will care. I think that comic books could end tomorrow, and I don't think that the general public would actually care all that much. I really don't. I think people would still buy back issues. I think that, you know, people would still pick up graphic novels or trade paperback collections of storylines that maybe informed and influenced the movies, but I don't think the general public is really going to mourn the loss of comic books, and that's kind of sad. I mean, it really is sad for those of us who have invested so many years of our lives, you know, following, reading, creating comic books, that I think they could go out with a fizzle, and not many people would care. So what do you think? Do you think that this is actually the end of Marvel Comics, that Marvel, you know, jobbing out flagship characters like Spider-Man, even though it's in, you know, an all ages type book? I mean, that is definitely a step in that direction, isn't it? So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that a company like IDW would do a better job with Marvel characters than Marvel has done with Marvel characters over the past few years? Are you excited about this? Are you not excited about it? Do you care one way or the other? Personally, I don't really care, but that's just me. So stay tuned for more videos. We're back in the office now. We will definitely be doing some more videos talking about pop culture and video games and all the drama surrounding She-Ra and a bunch of other things. Once we get over the jet lag, man, I'm still jet lagged from going to the West Coast. So in the meantime, subscribe to CLOWNFISH TV for more pop culture news. Click that bell to make sure you get notifications when we do publish videos. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you later.